Okay. Jack, it's always been my pleasure to spend time talking to you. It's almost been 20 years since you and I first met. Myself as a young executive, probably in over my head with the responsibility that I was giving, and you recognizing that, willing to spend time mentoring me on the many things that I hadn't yet learned but had a desire to learn. So I've always appreciated your perspective on leadership, your perspective on the value of mentoring and coaching, your insight on why strategic planning is so important to the success of a business. And so it's a pleasure for me to spend time with you this morning.
In your case, it was nice to have a good student.
If you wouldn't mind, just for the people who haven't had a chance to get to know you yet, would you give a quick professional background of kind of what you had been doing prior to our paths colliding?
Sure. I was fortunate enough to be what the universities called a traveling scholar. I was allowed to take my coursework at any major university in the country, transfer it back to my home institution, which happened to be Michigan State University. So it took me about 30 years to accumulate a PhD, but during that time I've done a lot of things, from building and running plants in Michigan in the 60s, and I'm quite proud of the fact that we built and ran 7 plants for the Monsanto Company in Michigan, and 6 of them are still operating. From there, I became director of planning for W.R. Grace in New York, and then I became director of planning for Northern Petrochemical Company in Chicago. And when the plans didn't quite work out, I ended up being group executive of that company. Then I rejoined the university, retired, and started my own business, which now has plants all over North America.
What a fabulous success story. You've had a chance to be involved with entrepreneurs, you've had a chance to be involved with executives at all levels of major corporations. When you look at the main ingredient that all these successful executives seem to share with regard to leadership, what are those key characteristics that you recognize that is really paramount to their success?
I think it's to be able to have a broad vision, but to be able to bring that broad vision down to the specifics of their own job. I think it also, as a matter of fact, I know they have to recognize the value of their employees. There's a tendency to recognize the value of your customers. Your internal employees, your employees are internal customers, and they can make you or break you. I think most businesses don't realize the most expensive thing they have is employee turnover. I find successful executives recognize that. And if I could give you an experience from my own, when I first went to New York with W.R. Grace, I was a couple rungs down from the head of a multi-billion-dollar division. For some reason, he called me in one day after I was there about 10 days and asked me about a specific thing that he would like for me to do. I said, I really don't want to do this without my immediate superior here. Let's get George in here and see what he says. So my immediate superior came in, and of course, if his boss wanted it done, I was going to do it. He told me what he wanted done, and then he asked me, how long will it take you? And I said, I think it will take 4 days. He said, that will be fine. I stayed up all night, got a room in the city, had it on his desk the next morning. Had he told me that I had to stay up all night and do that, I would have gone back to Monsanto. I didn't need this. But what he did, he let me set my own goals, and then he held me to them. And if he didn't like the goals I set, he could always change them. But his first thing was, let's see what this guy will do.